Hi everyone, I am Karen Long and welcome to Fast Beyond 40. My special guest today is Sharon Davis. She competes in the women's 50 age group, running against women aged 50 to 54. And she wasn't long in the Masters before she had success at a world level. She specialises in the 800 and 1500 metres and is also strong in the 400. We have had a few hit-outs over the years in the 400 metres. She is a national champion and also multiple world champion. But over the more recent time, she has had an injury that has kept her off the track for a couple of years. So I'm looking forward to this conversation to hear her story and how she's navigated the ups and downs of her Masters athletics career. So Sharon, thank you for joining me today.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Cool. Well, what I thought I'd do just as a starting point is share a bit of a funny story, because you and I had a very random meeting in Western Australia that was totally unexpected. I was traveling around in my caravan with my husband, and we were in a little town south of Perth, and I had no idea that that's where you lived. I actually thought you lived in Perth.
Yeah.
We'd just checked out of our caravan park. That night we hadn't slept well. Our fridge had gone on the fritz. So I've been beeping at us all night, so we were slow to get up. So we checked out and we pulled up over the other side on the main road, and Simon said to me, I better get on and sort this fridge out and make some phone calls. And I couldn't help with that. So I said, how long will you be? He said, oh, at least half an hour. I said, okay, there's a nice footpath over there on the other side of the road. I'm going to go over there and do my sprint training. So go over there with my wheel and my cones, and I do my warm up. I'm doing some sprints, and then this car drove past and went round the corner. And I thought nothing of it. And then next thing, you pop out from round the corner and you were just on your way home from work. So we stopped and had a chat. And like I said, I had no idea that you even lived in that town. So it's about a 1 in a million chance, but it was really cool. And
it was bizarre. Yeah.
Oh, so there you go. You just never know who's watching you when you're doing the training.
Yeah, it's funny because, as you say, I was driving home from work, which I do every day there. And I was looking, I was like, that looks like Karen. I was like, how can it be Karen? I was like, oh, yeah. Funniest story.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't believe it. So,
oh, dear.
Sharon, what I thought I'd do just to start with is just, what's your background with sport? What did you do as a kid and a teenager? And then how did you come to get back into Masters athletics?
Okay, so I did do athletics when I was younger. I started when I was 10 and probably stopped running around the age of 25 when I had my eldest daughter, and had intentions to get back into it, but it was a bit difficult. And then I had a second baby and it just never really happened. Coming from the UK, and we had teams. We ran as teams. So we would every other weekend go and do a competition that they would run every single event on that one day, and we would have an A team and a B team, and the club had to fill all those spots. So every weekend we would do everything. So I've always been an 800 meter runner and then into 400 hurdles. But on the day we would be doing 100 meters, 200 meters, 1500, long jump, shot put, 4x1, 4x2. So we never ever ran to our full ability. So I've never been a good athlete back in those days, and I could never do our county championships was our big one there, and I would always come fourth or nowhere. So it was never anything competitive, just fun, teamwork, fun times. I then, after having the kids, I wanted to be a fitness instructor. So around that time I stopped running, I started teaching classes. So I've always stayed fit. And then when we moved to Australia, we wanted the girls to learn about the ocean and the rips and things that we didn't understand coming from the UK. And we joined a surf club, and the kids got into running there. And I said, oh, I used to run. And someone said, if you do your bronze medallion, you can do it. So the hardest challenge in my life was trying to swim to pass my bronze medallion, because I'm not a swimmer, and then did some beach stuff. And then teaching a class in Mandurah, I bumped into a lady who had a T-shirt on that just said Veterans Athletics or something. And I just went up to her and said, what does that mean? And they were like, oh, we just do athletics on the track as veterans. I said, oh, I used to run. And said, go and speak to this person in Perth. And Perth is about an hour and a half away from me. Well, nowadays anyway, from the traffic, it's about an hour and a half drives to Perth. But I went up there, met Colin Smith, who's one of our WA legends, and never looked back really, just started getting back into track work. And I've always loved the 800 metres. The beach was either too short or too long. And yeah, just the people you meet and the journey, it's just been, I've loved it, really enjoyed it.
Fantastic. And what year was that you got started in the Masters?
Oh, before I turned 40, so it must have been, I think I was doing the beach stuff around the age of 39, maybe into 40. But I remember I'd just gone up and met the Marwa, the Masters in WA. And they were like, I said, like, when's the next competition? And they said, oh, we're going to Hobart in next month. But it's a nationals, and there was nothing in between. So I kind of leaped from doing nothing and just some running around the track to going to my first nationals, not really fully understanding the impact of what that meant back then. It was just a race, but I didn't realize it was so. I leaped straight into the big one, and I loved it. It was so good. I think I did win the 400 hurdles there or something, and yeah, I just enjoyed it, and that was it. I was addicted. That was 2014 for that first run.
Okay. Wow, and fantastic. And then you sent me through some of your results, which are pretty epic. And I had no idea that you did the hurdles, the 400-meter hurdles. Yeah. I've learned something new today.
That's the thing.
And so then we had, in 2016, we had the World Championships in Perth, which is your home state, not far from where you live. And for us, right, it's great to just not have to travel halfway around the world. And
exactly.
Yeah, you've said here that in the 400-meter hurdles, you were the gold medalist and world champion. Wow, that's incredible. And you came fourth in the 800. And then you and I got to run together in the women's 44 by 400 meters. We won that relay by, I had a look at the video just the other day to refresh my memory, and we won by about 40 meters. We really.
Oh, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew we'd won like convincingly, but I had no idea how far it was. Yeah. And I remember overhearing a conversation of the American team. I don't know how I became privy to this conversation, but they were looking at our lineup for our team in the women's 40. And although all four of us, none of us really specialised in the 400, we were all strong. You and Krista were good at the 800 and 1500, so one lap is easy for you. And myself and Wendy were good at the 1 and the 2, so we had plenty of speed. We just got to hang on there at the end. So we had four really strong competitors. They looked at our team and they knew that we would be unbeatable. So they took their best 400-meter runner in the women's 40 and put her down into the 35 age group. I don't know whether we didn't have a team. Perhaps our team was not as strong in the women's 35, but they knew that they would not be able to beat us. And not only did we win, we smashed them, I think, by 40 meters. So it was a pretty epic run. But for you, that's your first World Championships. Yeah. And you've won the gold medal in the 400-meter hurdles. Did you think that you were going to win, or how did you feel about that before you ran?
No, not at all. And again, I hadn't really fully appreciated. It sounds silly now. That I was running a world championships, just because it was in my hometown. I guess I just didn't realise what it was. But I will confess, it wasn't a huge line. I'm sure there's only like 4 of us in there. So to be honest, it wasn't a huge challenge that particular day, that particular competition. I don't know. So yeah, it wasn't as special as it sounds.
I'm sure you're playing down.
Really, I don't know.
Even if there's only 4 girls, I mean, those other 3 could be really good. You just never know. So, oh, wow.
Well, that's it. You don't know, but I was lucky on the day, let's say that.
Yeah, and sometimes you can be lucky. It just depends who turns up, what form they're in, injuries, all that sort of thing. And, but yeah, no, good on you.
That's right, yeah.
Had no idea you even did the hurdles. And then you went to Spain. And I was there, and I remember you were the silver medalist in the 800 and 1500, and you won bronze in the 400.
Yeah.
And I can remember your 800 meters. I
didn't
get to see it live. I had to leave the track, and I said to my friend Gino, I said, can you let me know how Sharon goes? She's in the women's 45, 800 meters. And I said, please send me a message. And so he sends me this message, and he said she was leading all the way until right at the finish line. And I thought, oh no. And I looked up the results. I think you were second by like 5/100ths of a second, which is crazy. And
Oh no.
did you know she was coming? Could you hear her coming up?
No, I didn't actually. It was that was the race of a life. That was definitely, I've put up as the best race in my entire life. It taken me probably a year, I reckon, for my coach to convince me that I could actually do well. And it took me, so my mindset had to change because I was just like a mum running, having fun, and then it was like, let's go to Spain. And then we was like, no, we're going to do this properly. So we did. But the biggest challenge was actually the brain, I guess, trying to convince myself that I could do it. So I did actually go there with the intention to try and win.
Okay.
I'd say because of the results from Masters rankings, that's quite good. You can see where you sit, and I guess that helps with my confidence to go in there. As like I say, these people are like amazing, and I'm just me. So it was quite daunting. But yeah, I did go, and it was a good race. I sat right. I did everything right. I'm absolutely 100%. She was just a lot better on the day. Well, a lot better runner generally. So she was, yeah, she had hers times to perfection. We literally crossed the line. There's a good photos. Her foot was down over the line and my foot was up coming to go down. So it was that close. It was just, and I was on fire. I didn't hear her coming until I could hear the crowd going. So I knew something was happening, but I just, that's all I had.
Well, that's all you can do is give it everything you had. So when you say mindset, like what did you actually do to get yourself into that mindset of I can win this?
I don't really remember, I think. I'm going to say that the results really that were on that rankings list around the world is really good. That really did help convince me because I needed to see it written down, if you know what I mean. I don't, someone just saying, oh, you can do it is nothing. And like I say, I've come from a background that I've not done world championship Olympic trials and that back in the day, like a lot of masters runners have when you turn up to these world championships, and they have conversations like, oh yeah, we did the trials back in 2000. I'm like, oh, I couldn't even beat my county championship. So it's quite daunting. But yeah, I guess seeing the results, I guess, and then just consistent training and just a coach that was very good at no, you can do it, and back up from everyone, back up from friends and family and just that support, I guess, a good support network.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so powerful to have people all around you who believe in you, encourage
Yeah.
you. And that's really, it's a part of obviously your ability to then eventually you take that on for yourself and you internalize it,
Yeah.
believe in yourself, and then you just go out there and you're almost so close.
Yeah. Right. And then I was like, I have unfinished business. I have to go back. And then then the world shut down to COVID and we couldn't go back. So it's like, oh, it's just been a big delay really of everything. So yeah.
And the website that you mentioned, just for people who are interested, it's Masters Rankings. Is it ranking or rankings.com?
I think it's rankings.
Rankings.com. Yeah, you can go up there. You can look up every age group. You can put, if you know a specific person, you can pop in their name and you can just see the results, see where they sit in the world. And as Sharon said, you can see how you compare against your peers, which is it's a good yardstick, especially when you're doing research before you go, as you say, so you know where you're at. Yeah, and then I see that after that you went on to Poland and you ran indoors. How did you find, because just for people who are listening, we don't have an indoor track in Australia, nor do New Zealand, so we never get to do any training indoors. And so when you come to the indoors, it's completely different. A full lap of the track is only 200 meters, so your 800 now becomes 4 laps, not 2. You've actually probably got to count and remember where you're at.
Yeah.
And quite often they're banked as well, which again, we're not used to running on that bank track. So how did you find it when you got to Poland running indoors?
Completely different. And that's why I went for that reason. We, like you say, we don't have them. Even when I ran in the UK back in the day, I've never run indoors. So it was just one of those things. I was like, I want to tick that box. I'm fit, I'm able to go. I want to tick it. And it was very, very different. It's very kind of, it was banked, the track in Poland. It felt like kind of wooden, if you know what I mean, like a construction with the track surface on top. And it was just fascinating to be there. I remember sitting in the stands and watching the men's 200s. And the fact that because you go up the bank, you obviously gravity pulls you down, and the amount of people that were getting disqualified because they'd run out of their lanes just because of natural gravity pulling you down. Just the whole experience was just amazing. So yeah, I loved it. I only entered the 400 and the 800. I didn't want to try and do 1500 with that many like laps. That was too scary. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. I loved it. It was very different, very, very different. And hot, actually, one thing I hadn't realised, and this actually affected my race in the 800. And one of the ladies from the Australian team was like, told me afterwards, she said, "Oh, you need a mint in your mouth." When I ran the 800, it just completely dries your throat up because you're running inside. And I was struggling with the fact that I had no moisture in my mouth trying to run, and it kind of lost track of what I was actually doing. So that was very, very different, and something, as we've never run inside before, we would never know. So I found that interesting.
Yeah, and I can relate to that because I ran indoors for the first time in Florida last year, 2025. And I was warned about how dry your mouth gets. And I was only doing the 60 and the 200, but someone said to me, make sure your mouth is really moist, your airways are open because it is so dry. And I got there early enough to do some training. I'd never run indoors. I thought for the 60 meters, I've got to hit that crash pad. I've got no idea what that feels like. And once I'd hit it and realized how hard it was and how you bounce off, I thought, okay, now you know what's coming. You need to do it again and run hard through the line, ready for the fact that you're going to hit this thing really hard, bounce off it. And then the 200, I found it a challenge to run down the embankment. And as you say, to stay in your lane because the lanes are narrower and you're running down a hill flat out. So I did that. I went twice to the track. That's all I practiced, running into the crash pad, coming down the hill. And after a couple of times, I thought, right, I think I've got this. But I see there you came third in the 400 meters. You won the bronze medal and silver in the 800 and an Australian record. So you did really well for your first time on indoor track.
Yeah, very pleased with that. Yeah.
Wow. And then, as you say, fast forward to Finland.
And that one I had actually my Achilles.
Oh, sorry, you just
and then Finland was just Finland. Oh, sorry, is that better?
Yeah, I think we're just
back on.
We're just cutting in and out a bit, but yeah, then Finland. Okay. I imagine that you had some unfinished business, particularly in the 800 when you were so close to winning in Spain, and you did win. You got 3 gold medals at that World Championships in the 800, 1500, and 4x400. So I saw a video at one point of your 800. Do you want to take us through the race and how did you feel? Were you confident again, or how did you feel going into the race?
Yeah, I did feel confident again. I was fit and ready, and things I hadn't done in the previous one in Spain. I probably should have kicked a little sooner than I did. So the goal was to try and kick a little bit earlier than before. And then I still freaked out in the race and was like, oh, what if I can't maintain it? And kind of didn't go win everyone off. I think it was the Spanish lady was hot on my heels in that race, and she was kind of catching, but I was able to hold her off and make it to the finish line. But yeah, it was almost going to be a repeat of Malaga. She was coming up behind me, and I managed to just fight her off and make it to the finish line.
Yeah, because like I said, I didn't go to Finland, but I saw a video of the race, and even though I knew the result as I was watching it, I could feel kind of this nervous tension of, is she going to hang on right to the end? And as you say, she was coming at you.
I can't get right.
No,
I was aware. I was like, oh no.
And you can see
actually, there's a funny story to. Sorry, there's a funny story to Finland that no one knows this. Okay. So I'll tell you something about Finland. So we arrived on the Wednesday, and I raced the 800 meters on the Friday night. On Saturday morning, I woke up with COVID. I was so ill. I spent the rest of the week in bed. I didn't go anywhere, couldn't meet anyone, couldn't do anything, and we just isolated at home. So I had to pull out of the 400 meters, which was on the Tuesday. And then I literally was in bed like for 6 days, I think it was. And then I dragged myself out of bed to do the 1500 meters. And somehow I won that one. I don't know how I did that. I was running on, I don't know what I was running on. If you look at the photos that I've got, you can see I just look like death. My eyes are just like, I look terrible. And it was, so it was one of the hardest things. And then obviously got better. And then 2 days later, we did the relay as well. So, but I had to stay away from the track. I didn't get to meet anyone, didn't get to have the fun of being at the championships. I was just literally in bed for over a week. It was the worst experience ever, but at the same time, it was the best experience ever.
Yeah, that's interesting, kind of bittersweet, really. And to come out and win the 1500 after a week in bed, that must have been like a real high for you to be able to achieve that when you're not feeling well.
Yeah. I do not know how I did that. I just literally, I think I was just like, I've come all this way. We'd paid like triple money for the flights because it had just been after the borders had opened after COVID. And for us anyway, for WA, we were allowed out finally. And yeah, it was just, must have been just sheer grit and determination because I was paid a lot of money to get there. I've done a lot of work to be there. I was like, I'm going to run.
And one thing I'd have to say about you, Sharon, is you probably do have one of the strongest mindsets of anyone I know within the Masters. And that story just right there shows exactly that. So I'm not surprised that you managed to win despite not feeling well. Does not
thank you
at all.
Thank you.
So what about things like nutrition, Sharon? Do you have a specific protocol that you follow, or what do you do there with your food?
No, that is an area I could improve on. It's yeah, this is I eat well, but I'm a bit of a sucker for things like crisps and cheese, and I like my biscuits. So I kind of like deviate a bit off plan there, but from a dinner point of view and things, but I don't count macros and I don't put this, that, and the other in. I do just eat relatively normal. I'm mindful of keeping a good balance of carbs and protein in, a bit like that, I guess. But yeah, I probably could work a little better on that if I really put my mind to it. It's not bad, but it's like there's things I could probably take out, should I say?
All right, maybe then you might break the world record if you do that.
Well, you never know.
Anything is possible, that's for sure. Oh wow! And
yeah.
Then, as I said at the start, you've then had quite a serious injury that you had surgery with, and you've been off the track for a couple of years. So, yeah, what happened with that injury, and how are you navigating your recovery out the other side of that?
So I had an issue called Haglund's deformity. So it's basically a little spur on the back of your heel that tears your tendon, your Achilles tendon. So for probably, as far as I can remember back, even back into my beach days when I was doing that, I remember being all taped up in my legs, not really knowing what it was. But I've always had Achilles issues or tendonitis throughout those years. And it's obviously, sometimes it gets worse than other times. So obviously I've had many MRIs and scans and checks and all this kind of stuff. And there's always been that little, it's a Haglund's deformity, but we've ignored it. It seems to be worse in summer. I seem to be okay during the winter months and I can train during the winter okay, but every summer it's disrupted my training. I don't know, we've kind of not really come to a full conclusion with any doctors or anyone, but I think it's just being summer, walking around barefoot. I do wear thongs in the summer, and just being in spikes. Like I say, we don't have a track or anything here in WA. We only have 3 tracks, and the closest one is an hour and a half away. So a training trip there is a 5-hour round trip to just do some training. So we train on uneven grass ovals with no even track marked out. So we just count the light poles and goalposts to work out where we're running distance-wise. So I don't wear spikes too often. So I'm just guessing when I do then go to the track in the summer and do the competitions and things, it just made it worse. So just year after year, just kind of getting fed up with disrupted training. When I went to Poland, that was another time I hadn't run for about 6 weeks beforehand and was only doing pool work. So even my training in Poland, I was in the hotel pool just getting ready for the races and was able to pull off the races, and that was about it. So yeah, I just got to the point where I was like, I need to just get this sorted out. And when it tore quite badly, where are we, 2 years ago now, so that was, we 26, 24, and January 24, and I was just like, this just has to stop. So I had 9 months trying to repair it again, and then just trying to convince the surgeon to do the surgery. So it took me till September of 2024 to actually get the surgery. And he was like, it's a 4-month turnaround. I know some successful masters that have had it done, and they're like, yep, best thing ever, pain-free straight away. It's amazing. So I went ahead, got the surgery in September, and there's no 4-month return to running for me. It's been over a year now, and I'm only just really running. Probably the last 6 months have been a bit on, off, on, off. I can do a bit, then I have to pull back a bit. So one step forward a year. So that's a bit frustrating, but it's starting to come good now. It's done. I can't turn the clock back. And the worst thing is I went and checked with the surgeon a little while ago and the spur's growing back again. So it's like, oh, well, it's just for nothing. The fitness that is lost is unreal. It's amazing. You try to cross train at the beginning, but running's what we enjoy, and it kind of wanes off a bit when you know you're not going to be able to do it for a bit. So I on and off dabbled, and it's just been a very, very hard journey. It's like I said, I don't live anywhere near Perth, so my network of training people and friends were up there. So I've just been feel quite isolated. It's been quite an isolating journey. But my husband has been amazing. And I've made some friends down here at the park run and just got into it in a different light. I'm doing running in a different way at the moment. But the plan is to make it back. The journey's on the way back.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure you'll be even stronger than ever before. So what's your goal from here? Do you have anything specific that you'd like to aim for?
At the moment, it seems the most realistic is to just keep. I haven't set a big goal yet. I just don't see that as achievable right now. So I want to take the steps so they're doable. So at the moment, I'm just trying to increase my speed, just trying to increase. I've managed to be able to do distance. I just want to try and just get a little bit faster and faster each time. At the moment, I haven't really set any goals. I'm just having fun, just running some trail running, actually. Just thought I'd do something different, do some trail running and some 5 and 10Ks on the road just to get out there, but not in the same environment that I used to. I don't want to get out there and try and keep comparing. So I just want to journey back. So obviously I did wonder about debut this year, but there's no way I'll be ready. It's going to take me another year to get back to where I was, if I can make it back. Or I just go and run and be lucky to make a heat and maybe not a final. I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Yeah, because there's a bit of an adjustment process when you pick up along the way, and you're used to performing at a certain level and then you can't. So then it's the question of, do I even go? Is it worthwhile? Or do I just have fun doing, like you say, doing your park runs? I know you're enjoying that at the moment, and doing something different while you rebuild and work your way back to where you were before.
Yeah, so that's the journey I'm on at the moment. With no real goal in sight at the moment, apart from just to try and get back to as close to where I was.
Cool. And what drives you, Sharon? I mean, you could have, over these last couple of years in particular, you could have given up, but you don't. You keep going. As you say, you're on your way back, slowly but surely. So what drives you to keep going?
I just really love the feeling of running. Like, it's just what I feel in my body. I'm just driven by that. I love the feeling of training. I'm not so much competing. I don't actually enjoy competing that much. Apart from that is the validation of the work you've done. That gives you I can run this fast now. This is the time I've achieved. It's the training I enjoy. I enjoy just working like this, of working hard and trying to better myself. That drives me, I think.
Yeah, and it's great that it's very much an internal motivation, and that's probably why you're coming back well the way you are, because it's not external, particularly about winning and running this specific time to do that, but it's just that's great. It's interesting. And if people want to follow you, are you on social media?
It's not.
I think you cut out a bit there. We missed that.
I am on Instagram, actually, but I'm not very good at social media. I should do it more, but I don't. And my girls did set me up on social media.
Okay. And for new people, because like you, I was in my late 30s when I came back to Masters Athletics. Is there any advice that you have for people that are perhaps in their mid to late 30s, early 40s? Because that's quite often when women return to the track. From your experience, is there any recommendations that you would make?
I don't know about recommendations, but I definitely would say do it. Like, it's just been an amazing journey. I have absolutely loved finding masters. And the people, the first thing is the people that we meet, like yourself, and along the way, so locally, and then from me nationally, getting to travel around Australia, now traveling around the world, you meet people from around the world. I love that. I love that so much. And now to say the traveling side of it as well, but the people is amazing. Um, and the fitness is good. Like, we need to keep moving as we get older. It's a proven thing. It's good for your mental health. It's good for your physical health. I highly recommend it. I don't know about, just find your local club. Just find someone local, and I reckon wherever you are in the world, they would be inviting and welcoming and join anyone to join them. I really do.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's what I found when I came back to the Masters, was it's a very inviting community, very welcoming.
Yes.
It's quite a small community in the scheme of things, but there's so many beautiful people, lots of friendships. And when you go away to these, whether it's a national or world champs, you get to catch up with all your friends and hang out with like-minded people. And yeah, it really is a wonderful experience. So
Yes.
just in closing, Sharon, is there anything else you want to share before we wrap this up?
Oh, I don't know. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but yeah, it's been an amazing experience. Masters is the best, it really is. And like I say, it's definitely not just about winning things. It's about the people you meet. It's about the fitness. It's now about travel as well. Now it's opened up to national championships and world championships. And yeah, I highly recommend it. I'm having a great time. It's hard coming back from this injury, but I will come back because I just enjoy it so much.
And I know, as I said before, with your strong mindset, I know that 100% you'll be back, and probably better and faster than ever before. So I look forward to that and watching your journey unfold from here. So thank you, Sharon, so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.